Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you wanna give them more? Then give them some more. Come on.
Give them more if they want some. Give them more if you want to. Give them more if they want some. Give them more if you want to. Give them more if they want some. Give them more if you want to.
Come on, come
Give
on.
them more if they want some. Give them more if you
Give them more.
It's your favorite host doing the most, and you know I like to boast. It's Mo Manifest tuning in, and before we get started, as always, let's pay some bills. I'm not wearing the sponsor today because it don't exactly go with the jersey I got on, but y'all see the details of these Trap Art LLC hats. Well, I got a bunch of them, a bunch of different colors, but this specific blue, this the throwback Warren Moon, Mitchell and Ness, 1993. Warren Moon. If you know a little bit about football, then you know who I'm talking about. But today, something I've been running into a lot lately in conversation or just seeing, and it's a very familiar place for everyone. I think no matter what level of success you're on, we all have a stage in our life that I like to call captivity, or as I like to call it, being in yourself. And I'll take you through a little details of mine and what captivity is and kind of how you free yourself or what it's for. So I remember my captivity was when I stayed in this apartment. It was a very, very small apartment, almost the size of a dorm room. This essentially was a converted dorm room. And in that time, I was able to sit and really get a grasp for understanding of who I was and what it was all for. I mean, nothing really changed. People still came over. I still had a life. But in the midst of that, when I went to my captivity, which was this small room, it was something that I couldn't escape. It was something that the longer I prolonged it, the more far-fetched my goals seemed. Because we all got goals. We're in this society now where everything is more spiritual, as they say. I'm not going to comment on that today, but I have my thoughts on how people have turned spirituality into a religion, but we'll get to that at a later time. But, we in this open-minded society, and people use the word manifest a lot. And if you follow me on Instagram, then you know my handle is Mo Manifest. But what is manifesting? What is this stuff? Like, let me be the first to tell you, it's all mental. It's all mental. It's spiritual for some. It's religious for some. But realistically speaking, it's who you are, what you choose to believe in, and how do you apply that, right? Who you are, what you choose to believe in, whatever your faith system is, and how you choose to apply it, whether it's prayer, meditating, manifesting, vision boards, all this stuff. So I named 3 things. If I just do those 3 things, where will I get out of that? Okay, so I've been praying. I know my belief system. Okay, so why is nothing happening? There's a equal part to that people leave out that you have to understand. And we can explain this in one word: work. You have to put the work in, right? You can't be afraid to work and you can't move it. Now, what work are you talking about? If you got financial limitations, you have to keep your head down long enough to get your head up. Why is that important? Because if you can't keep your head down and every dollar you get, you're trying to fake it for the people, because that's all it is. We've all done it before. You're stuck in your insecurities and things like that. You try to fake the funk for people so you can look a certain type of way. And that's okay. It's a very judgmental world. People make mistakes. My biggest thing is I still am a mistake maker. Some people call it a sinner or whatever you want to call it. But I'm still that guy. I still make mistakes. I'm still not perfect. I'm not better than you because I'm an entrepreneur and I'm managing a successful business. I am not better than you because just tomorrow, if I decide to make the wrong decision, everything in this world is volatile and it can crush. But when you got your faith system, your beliefs, who you are, and you put that work in, that is the ingredients for foundation, right? And I see a lot of people trying to build, follow me mentally, build up their house. Let's call your business, your life, your house, with cracks in their foundation. Do the foundation have to be perfect? No. But your foundation has to be strong enough to survive earthquakes, which is things, natural disasters, let's call it that. Because just like natural disasters in the real world can come sweep and take your house off its foundation, in the metaphorical, the mental, the spiritual world, natural disasters happen too. And a lot of people you see on the internet are feeling bad about stuff that's not real. But when you're in captivity, that's the time to figure out what's real and what's not. You know, there's a difference between, and I'm gonna get to this topic too, because I seen a video and it made me laugh. There's a difference between $1 million gross and $1 million profit. And if you know the difference, you know that a person that profited $1 million, it has more money than technically has more money in that entity than the person that grossed $1 million. But what you may not know is if you get your stuff right, a million can be a million. We can go to the bank, and even though this person who grossed it is not technically a millionaire, if you know the right stuff at the bank, you are a millionaire. And even though the person has a million, he's a millionaire. He has $1 million capital, liquid cash. This person may have 700, half a million, but they got enough transactions to be on the same level. You just got to know the difference. But like I said, when you don't know no better, and they say ignorance is bliss, a person will try to play you. So what do we do when we in captivity? For one, you're going to run from it. You're going to run from it because captivity is depressing. It's not fun. It's pulling back your layers. It's dealing with insecurities. It's looking in that mirror and realizing I'm not who I perceive myself to be. And when I walk out, when I look in the mirror and I see lies and I see flaws, just imagine what they see. The crazy part about it is when I walked out, when I was in my captivity at first, people will say things to me that let me know that mentally I was different. They called me more money. Oh, you got it. Oh, you living good. And I give all that to the ladies that raised us, right, in my family, the matriarchal system that we had of women that pulled together to make us know how to take care of ourselves, know that we must be presentable at all times. See, sometimes you may not have it, but when you walk in it, when you walk in that essence, it has to come to you. If you put it out there, it has to come to you. And I'm not telling you not to meditate, not to prayer, not to manifest and do all these things. I am telling you if you ain't willing to work for these things and these material things, the big house, the this and that, you may even get it because that's how good life can be. But you're gonna lose it. And a lot of people don't want to tell you the truth. You know, you don't have to wake up every day at 4:30 a.m., run a marathon, do this, do that. No, you don't have to do that. But you're gonna have to put in some type of work, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, spiritual, at work, at home. The work never stops. And when you get it, you do more work. You know, I remember before I opened my Amazon, it was work. You had insurance. I mean, I went from a kid who basically I was on insurance. My mama did a lot for me, thank God, you know. But you know, she did her best and she did an amazing job, if I do say so myself. But But like I said, the ladies did an amazing job in the matriarch. But I ain't know nothing about insurance. I ain't know nothing about uh I don't know, shopping these different things, doing these contracts and stuff like that. But I had managed enough business because the first job I had, I became a manager in 3 months. And I mean, I started working probably at 18 and I worked all the way up until I'm still working, don't get me wrong. But I worked all the way up until 26 ish, 27. I know that's not a long time, but it is when you put in the work and you position yourself so that when opportunities come, the financial part will not be there sometimes. It won't make sense. But when you walk in your purpose and people believe in you and things happen, man, sometimes those things fall in place for you and you gotta be ready. And let me tell you, it happened so fast. It happened so fast that I went from working class, paycheck to paycheck, not really having the money I want, not really in the situation I wanted to be in. But those was wants. But I did have food, shelter, water. I had transportation. I had money, but it wasn't what I wanted. And in life, you got to stand on your own and realize that sometimes when you get on a level, it takes a level to get to a level. And I just remember being on this level. And some people will say, well, you up here now. No, I'm not. If you want to compare money, sure. But I can almost tell you when I was in captivity, I was higher mentally than where I am now. Now you may say why? Because once I got into that second phase of I'm no longer in denial. I understand the flaws in the mirror. I understand what's going on. I understand who I am. I broke through. And then there's a third phase of doing where you got the first phase where you realize, and the second phase where you accept it. The third phase is a breakthrough. And then the fourth phase, you are gone. I'm still in the fourth phase because I am gone. I've been on an upward trajectory, even though it has plateaued. It's been an upward trajectory because I understand that you must stay still on some of these levels to reach the next level. And the reason why I say I was higher at that moment was because that was my moment of realization. That was the moment where you stop um, worrying about what's next and you just worry about what's now. So, like I said, when you're in that cell, it's like being locked up. You can't run from it. You got to face it. All you can do is prolong it. That's it. It's like going to jail or something and committing crimes while you in jail. All you doing is making it worse. But if you do your time, you take it and you accept it for what it is. Now, I ain't never been to jail, but you hear the story. But metaphorically speaking, same thing. When you get yourself together and you ready and you know exactly who you are, it's not that a person can't tell you anything. They could tell you a lot. It's that you can't tell me who I'm not. If I'm mean, blah, 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 then that's just who I am. But that doesn't stop me from getting this work done. So we don't want to look at captivity as a bad thing. And there's a difference between being still and being locked up. Because there's a lot of people in this world who are free prisoners. And what do I mean by that? Because they've been through so much, or they give up too soon, or they don't want to take the test of time, or they measuring their time to somebody else, or they comparing their life to somebody else, they seem to miss all the good that they do have. Because there's always somebody that got it worse. I think they said if you got food, water, and shelter, you are richer than 75% of the world. Now, I could be wrong. I think it might be higher. It might be 85%. But it's either 75, 65, 75, 85%, somewhere in there. let's just say you're well more wealthier than half the world, which means you have more wealth in that than 3.5 billion or 4 billion people. And that's insane within itself. Privilege can hide behind anything. And that is actually what the American dream is, privilege. That's what it is. The house, the dog, the white picket fence, blah, blah, blah. It's an image that they paint, but it's also privilege on the other side of that. And when a person don't feel privileged nor protected, or they don't understand what that means, they fall for these things and sometimes they achieve them. We cannot achieve goals that someone else gave to us unless you're okay with what I mean by that is life goals. You can't let nobody else dictate your life. You can always use others as references, balance and checks and things of that nature to get your life back on course. But while you in captivity, the only person who got the key is you. And the beautiful part about being in captivity and being locked up mentally, spiritually, physically is that the key is actually right in front of you. But you have to look in the mirror and the key is right in front of you. And then once you get out of that mirror and you turn around, the key has been on the ground. But here's the most beautiful part about captivity. You was locked up and the door was never locked. With that being said, it's your favorite host doing the most and you know how to boast. It's Mo Manifest, and please make sure you're not locked up abroad, locked up because you want to be. Make sure that if you're in captivity, that it's because you have to overcome you to reach the next level. As always, I love everybody. Thank you for participating, and y'all have a blessed day.
Give 'em all if they want some. Give 'em all if you want to.